Hi class, it's Mr. Ariaga. As you can tell, I'm in my kitchen and I've wanted to talk to you a little bit about your demonstration speeches that are coming up. I wanted to go over the assignment. I urge you to pay attention to the instructions and the video I post. I had a lot of questions of stuff I covered on the video for the informative speech, so just make sure that you read and you watch the video. I'm trying to do these videos. This is the first time I've done it. Just to show you what I want. It doesn't mean you have to do the same exact thing, but you need to follow the same guidelines. All right, so I want to go over the demonstration speech. I have it printed here. You'll find it online. The purpose of this assignment is to show us how to do something we may not know how to do or might have done incorrectly. The goal of this assignment is to be able to communicate to your audience why they need to know how to do this, and at the end of the presentation they should be able to replicate it or have a better idea on how to do it. Okay, so the requirements of this speech: it needs to be 6 to 8 minutes in length, and you need to show how to do something step by step, and I'll get into that, what I'm looking for here. I have an example here. You will not have to do the whole project in the time limit, but show us how to begin each step and have a completed example of how it looks like when it's complete. Think of like an infomercial or a cooking show or something like that. They show you how to do it, but then there's always one in the oven ready to go or something like that. This way you don't have to worry about editing and that kind of thing. If you want to, great. If not, there's simple ways of doing things, okay? Let's see, delivery must be in the form of a YouTube video. I've established this. I need to be able to see you give this speech so I can identify the things that they're talking about in this course, eye contact, that kind of thing. If I see part of your face, if you're reading your speech, because I have already seen that already, or if you get to the point where you're sitting like this for your video, I've already had that, happen too, where I can't see who you are and that kind of thing. So make sure to do that. It needs to be a YouTube video. You need to have some sort of visual aid. Let's see, remember, I don't email an actual video file to me. We've already discussed this in class. Review the information in the textbook on presentation aids as well as the information discussed in class. You need to turn in all of the following. Much like your presentation, your informative speech, I require the same things. I want the link to the YouTube video. Copy and paste it into the comment section of your on Blackboard. If that doesn't work, copy and paste it in your paper. As long as I can find it and it's obvious that it's there, I'm not going to count off on it. So put it in your paper, copy and paste it. There's no way that won't work. I've had several of you already kind of have issues with that. So just do that. That's the easiest way. If you're not having problems, Blackboard will let you upload an entire video file. However, it takes forever. And remember, I don't open them because it makes me download them. Okay, we've already gone over that. An outline, remember what you did in your PowerPoint presentation. Some of you had just like 3 bullet points. I need more than that. I need to be able, this is for you to be able to deliver your speech, okay? So you need to have more than just like 3 bullet points. You need to turn in at least a 3-page written speech, just like we did before, in MLA format. That means in-text citations. That means your sources, your works cited page needs to be in MLA format. Don't just put links to a website or something like that. Okay. You need to, in your paper, you need to list a list of the materials needed to complete the project, a step-by-step outline of the order on how to do it, estimate how long the task will take to complete, and estimate the cost. Okay. Your visual aid, you have 2 options. I prefer you actually demonstrating on how to do something. I'm going to talk about making coffee and give you an example of that in just a second. Just take, when you're thinking of topics, think of something that you like to do. I have had students, show me how to change the tire of a car, or show me how to put a saddle on a horse, or, how to make food, bake things. Use your imagination on this. There's been even crazy things. Now, I don't recommend this one, but I had a student one semester show me how to break into his own car because he always locked his keys in his car. Don't do that. But like I said, use your imagination, okay? So like I said, you have 2 options. The YouTube video is the one I prefer the most. But the other one, you can create a PowerPoint presentation of you with presenting it like you had before and you're informative, but with pictures of you. Now I have to be able to see that it's actually you doing this, of whatever it is that you're doing. You can explain it in pictures on your PowerPoint. Those are the two options that you have. I must see you doing whatever the action is in either of those options, okay? Remember, we're trying to make it as if you were in the classroom as much as possible. To ensure that you get a good grade, be certain that your speech meets the following. Does my introduction capture the attention of the audience? I don't want to hear today where I'm going to be talking to you about, or today I'm going to be showing you how, or just, okay, this is what it is. You know, you need to have an attention getter. Your introduction is the most important thing in conclusion. Okay. Do I support my points with adequate and supporting demonstrations? Do I have visual aids that enhance the presentation? Do I have a clear conclusion instead of saying, well, that's it, or I'm done, or just pushing stop in the middle of a sentence? I've had that too. Have I followed the directions? Do you outline the correct format? Do I have visual aid? Did I submit all the parts of the assignment, and have I researched my topic and provided at least 3 credible sources? Now, a credible source, if you're doing a cooking video, can be an article in Better Home and Gardens, or it could be something that Martha Stewart or some celebrity on that particular subject has published, a website or something like that. That is a credible source, not some random person on YouTube performing on how to do this, or Bob's website on making coffee. That's not, if it's not published or something like that, that's not necessarily credible. Okay, and remember, Wikipedia is not a source. Please don't cite Wikipedia. You can look at Wikipedia and try to figure out what you want to do, but at the very bottom it has credible sources. Just remember, the only reason I do not allow Wikipedia is because anyone can change the website, and it doesn't, they don't check it to see if it's correct. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the demonstration here. So right here, I'm a coffee lover. I love coffee. I don't know how many, 3 or 4 different ways to make coffee. I have a coffee maker that grinds the beans. I have a Keurig. I've got a French press. That's something I'm really into. That's what I like. So if I were to be demonstrating on how to make coffee, I would have all of the materials that I would need. And so in this case, I would talk about how, brewing your coffee from beans is is better than anything else. So in this in my demonstration, I would talk about the actual piece of equipment. So this is a coffee maker. This is made by Cuisinart. It grinds its own beans. And then I would go into the actual steps of how to make, how to do the product. It can be very simple. It doesn't have to be very elaborate. So you would want to list all the steps, on how to make coffee. I have the beans that I get from Central Market, and I would talk about how to measure the beans, how to put them in the coffee maker, what the steps are to make coffee. So you put the beans in, you put the water, you only want to use filtered water when it comes to making coffee. So I would talk about that. I would put the coffee in. I would also talk about how important it is to put the filter in. And I would show you how to do all those things. Put the beans in the grinder at the very top. The water goes in here, so I would show you where to put the water. Then I would open up the coffee machine and say, okay, this is where you put your filter. And then talk about, the carafe. So the coffee would come into this. This is a thermal carafe. It keeps the coffee warm. It does not burn the coffee. And, you would talk about that. And then you would, if you had coffee already made, you would show, yourself pouring it into your favorite cup. You would talk about the way to fix the coffee. I use Splenda, so I would have that out. I would have the half and half, or milk, or whatever you want to use. And then I would show you how to, mix the coffee. It's very simple. This does not have to be a very elaborate thing. I don't expect you to spend a lot of money on this. But I want you to show me how to do something, and I want you to be clear and concise with your instructions. I would also talk about sources about coffee making. So I would say, according to the International Association of blank, whatever coffee making, because there's probably out there, they recommend that you use, so many scoops of coffee beans per ounce of of coffee. So I mean, there you can get, I want you to show me how to do something. I want you to give me credible, you know exactly what you're doing, and then that's it. So it could be very simple as, making coffee. People make cookies, make pies, whatever you want to do, that's fine. Just use your best judgment. Don't show me how to do anything illegal. I don't want to know that. But it doesn't have to be very elaborate. Like I said, I have my laptop in my kitchen. I have a lamp on the floor so that you can see my face, and I have all the lights on in my kitchen. So you don't really have to go to any great length on how to do this. Just make sure you follow the instructions. So hopefully this will give you some ideas on what to do. We have the demonstration speech, which is this one, and then we have one more left. So remember, these speeches are 40% of your grade. We have the group project, we have the informative, we have the demonstrative, and the persuasive. That'll make up 40% of your grade. So if you do poorly on one, or you don't do one at all, it's going to have a huge impact on your grade. So you don't want that. So like I said, ask me if you have questions. I'm not going to tell you how to do something, but I will answer your questions. I will point you in the right direction. I'm not going to actually do the work for you. There's a difference between asking if I should do this, or show me how to do this. I want you to be able to figure these things out. You're in college. So if you have questions, let me know. Email is the best way. But I look forward to seeing what you turn in. So we'll talk to you next time, okay? Bye.